All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Um, so I've been sitting here just going over some videos I didn't get to finish yesterday, and I've been going through Twitter X, because I am becoming obsessed. Um, I am a recent X person. I got on there during COVID, got kicked off very fast, and so I kind of just took my time and then made another account after Elon took over. But a lot of stuff's been going on. And if you're anyone who's been gaming for as long as I have, been in the sphere as long as I have, middle of the road, make fun of both sides, as I do, and the person I'm about to watch a video of, people like Shoe on Head, in the middle. You'll notice a trend, and it's that both sides have one thing in common. They'll blame whatever they can to take any attention off of their own influence. Today's instance in this, scrolling through Twitter, and I found Stuttering Craig, formerly of Screw Attack, Game Attack. Now he brought back side scrollers. It's the video game's fault, really. The data tells you the exact opposite. The bigger the industry grows, more sales, players, etc., the less violent crimes have occurred. And it's just like blaming the movies or anything like that. While I'm sure there is a slim margin, or maybe these people who probably would have done it anyway found a few ideas that they couldn't pull off in real life because they're taking their inspiration from movies instead of how reality works. But if you look at this that Craig posted, violence, crime rate per 100,000, and then video game sales. Video games has shot up exponentially. And violent crime, although this is only up to 2020, and a lot of stuff's happened during and since 2020, it's gone down. Yes, there is still a lot, and yes, there are questions as to whether or not some blue cities, if you're on the right, some blue cities' estimations of their violent crime rates are accurate. But oh, balls. Sorry. Can you tell I suck at this? Let me get back to it. Okay. But anyway, so he posted this article from the New York Post. Anti-ICE gunman Joshua John spent 17,500 hours playing violent video games, including right before the shooting. This person's mentally ill. And he's been radicalized, or he's just jumped on the bandwagon because some of the friends that he hangs out with or whatever, or people talking online, have suggested that violence is the answer. But if you notice right here, readers have added context of violent video games found not to be associated with adolescent aggression. Oxford. Video games, this is from The Guardian. What's this one? Violence in video games. Video games do not cause real-world violence. From Entertainment Software Association. A little less reputable as we go, but the point remains the same. Look, if anything, video games is an outlet for all these violent thoughts and tendencies. They are not a training ground. I'm going to pull up a video that Chris Raygun did almost 10 years ago that goes over what the left and the right all have in common. They're parties of no ideas, and they keep finding themselves agreeing at different times, albeit, as to the conclusion. It's the video games. So I'm going to move this up here. And it's about a 16-minute video, and I might have a couple little other things here and there, but this isn't anything new. And he's going to go down a list of some of the different things that were blamed on video games, or reasons people have spoke out against video games. Here we go.
Hi, hello, don't talk to me. Today's episode of the Philip DeFranco Show is brought to you by Vikings, War of Clans. You like violent video games? Me too, and ain't nothing more violent than Vikings, let me tell you, except for maybe me. Check me out, look at me, look how violent I am. I can't be contained.
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
Oh, is this an ad?
This is a free mobile game with 20 million players, which is pretty insane. So why am I telling you about it? Oh, 3 reasons, bitch. 1.
Wait, Jesus.
Hi, hello, don't talk to me.
Shut up.
Today's episode of the Philip... Hey, everybody, welcome
didn't
back
plan
to the
my playlist
program.
out.
It's me,
Fuck off.
Chris, from Until Dawn. Today we're going to be talking a lot about video games, but not in like the good, fun way where it's like, you know, we're talking about being excited for the new Spider-Man game by Insomniac, and not even in like the negative, but also kind of fun way where we're like, you know, shitting on Konami.
This shows you how long it's been. Because we were looking forward to more Spider-Man games at this time, but we'll get into that some other time.
For charging actual money for fucking save slots. No fun today, guys. Because if you're a video game fan by any means, I'm sure you've taken notice of the recent orbital bombardment of articles lambasting video games because they're apparently the most harmful thing on the planet, again, for the 44th time. And you know, if we're being really honest with ourselves here, this cycle of moral panic over video games is actually a very predictable cycle. You know, it started in the 1980s with the Christian right, where they're like, oh, hey, guess what? That D&D, that Dungeons & Dragons and all them video games, they're recruitment devices for the Satan.
Dungeons & Dragons debuted in 1974.
The Satan.
It became a hit with many adolescents, but critics claimed it was an invitation to devil worship.
The witchcraft, the demonism, the spells.
Then off to the left wing again in the 90s, where you had Hillary Clinton just saying stupid shit as usual.
Hillary said
Video
stupid
games
shit.
Increase aggressive behavior as much as lead exposure decreases children's.
Man, her talking about this kind of stuff is almost as unbearable, actually just as unbearable, as hearing Trump talk about Tylenol.
IQ scores.
And you know, it's going. Oh, wait, what's that? Oh, back over to the right wing in the mid to late 2000s. Fox News and Glenn Beck making all sorts of ridiculous reports about fucking Grand Theft Auto teaching your sons to treat women like whores. Or how the Nintendo
sex
DS
box.
is
Fuck
a
off.
fucking device that pedophiles use to find and locate children.
And remember Marissa chatting with her friend in the other car? That means a molester driving along could see your child in the back
Like,
seat
look at
and
what you
start
have to do.
sending messages while you're in the front seat, totally oblivious to what's happening.
A molester. A molester driving by. While he is driving. While he is
There's
driving.
a victim afoot. Let me get on the picto chats so I can molest.
He veers off the road and kills himself and everyone because you can't drive with a DS.
No, because you have to, one, you can't really even look at the screen while you're driving, let alone you have to type with that stupid little stylus to do any kind of communication. It was great for the time, but unless these guys drive around in packs, no. It's ridiculous.
Who created this? Who created the person that created this? Sometimes I think the atomic bomb is just the way out.
I love Sweeney. We disagree on a lot, but I love Tom Sweeney.
And I remember that era fondly because that's when I started making videos, and those are the topics that I made videos about. They're very bad. I used Windows Movie Maker. It was not a bright time. Oh, there it goes again. That's the early to mid 2010s. It's going back over to the left. The left hates video games now because everybody who plays video games are sexist pigs.
Go home, gamer girl.
That was during the Gamergate.
and again,
days.
this
That was back when
is
Anita
7 years
Sarkeesian's
ago
name
now.
was more inescapable than fucking loot box.
And I know this one's dogging the left a little bit. Trust me, I'm going to get back on Twitter and start going towards the right in a minute.
Are today.
I sure do love spending $60 whole on a video game that isn't complete. What a wonderful future this is.
Nowadays, though, it seems like everybody's joining in on the party. You got your Pepes, you got your Soy Boys. What a union this is. I'm gonna put my hat on because my hair's pissing me off right now. Here's an article from The Guardian where they literally actually make the claim that video games have been fueling the far right since the mediums and...
Oh, yes, because the far right loves video games. Video games knows no political parties, okay? It's divided right. As a matter of fact, it's divided right now between the far left and not even the far right. The center, pretty much anyone on the left who's not nuts, which is becoming more and more base these days, and the right. against everyone else, but we'll get into that later too.
Inception because, and I quote, right-wing ideologies have been overrepresented and dominant throughout the history of video games. Although affected by context, video games have long focused on the expulsion of aliens, Space Invaders to XCOM, fear of impure infection, Half-Life to The Last of Us, border control, Missile Command to Plants vs. Zombies, territory acquisition, Command and Conquer to Splatoon, empire building, Civilization to Tropico, Princess Recovery, Mario to Zelda, and restoration of natural harmony, Sonic to Farmville. I don't even know where to begin with this. Evidently, being opposed to deadly viruses being exposed to the human population.
And it's funny you say that because there's currently a left-wing push against video games saying that games like Farmville and even Animal Crossing breeds colonialism. But we'll get into that later if I don't forget.
As well as being against the invasion of malevolent alien forces, those are both right-wing ideologies. Are right-wingers lining up to save animals in the wilderness? Guys, I'm not sure I understand how to compute this. But wait, Chris! I hear you shout in the distance. It can't just be you've just showed us a left-wing article. How dare you? There's gotta be a right-wing article somewhere. Allow me to introduce you to this article by the Daily Wire, which, by the way, I didn't realize this. The Daily Wire is owned or, headed by Ben Shapiro. I had no idea before I started making this video.
Again, this is almost 8 years
Pretending
ago.
Violent video games are harmless just because you like playing them. By Matt Walsh.
What's that? Is that Matt Walsh, who 2 or 3 years after this became one of Daily Wire's biggest content creators on YouTube? Why, yes, it is. And we'll get into that later, too.
Oh, Maddie. Oh, Maddie. Now, for the sake of brevity, I'm not going to go through the whole article. It's largely just appeals to emotion, and a lot of it does read kind of like an old man yells at the sky type deal, you know? So we're just going to go through some of the gems that we found, that I found. We didn't do. You guys didn't help me. Fuck you. What about violent video games? Well, there's no reason to focus this part of the conversation only on kids. It's not good or healthy for anyone to play graphic, disturbing, gory video games. Certainly, it won't make you a better person, and it's very hard to imagine that the effect is neutral. Nothing is really neutral for human beings. Everything we do either makes us better or worse. Hours a day pretending to kill people in virtual reality must logically fall into the worst category. Okay, first of all, I'm gonna get to this later, but the fact that he thinks video games are all about just fucking pretending to kill people is so emblematic of exactly why I'm so confident that he's never touched a video game in his life. But we'll get into that later. The second thing that I want to bring up here is Matt Walsh is actually straight up making the argument, literally actually, that playing violent video games straight up makes you a worse person. Like, you are actually, I'm not twisting his words, dude. That's a translation.
Yeah.
That's fucking, what's that, Rosa Parks? What's that thing? The fucking Muzzy? He also makes it very clear that this isn't just a thing about, children, you know? He thinks, even adults shouldn't be exposed, to violent video games. And it's to a certain extent with children, I agree. Yeah, you don't want to show a child, like a 6-year-old girl, a fucking a full motion video cutscene from a PlayStation 1 game. That's gonna scar her for life. But you know what? That's why the ESRB exists, so you know what games are suitable for who. And you know what? If that
What's this? Is this Matt Walsh playing horrible video games? Okay, sorry. Rage subsiding.
fails, there's still the fucking parents that should be paying the fuck attention to what the hell their kids are playing. You see, my parents understood that I was capable of separating fantasy from reality when I was very young, so I was able to play rated M games when I was around 10 or 11. But not everybody's like that. Be a fucking parent. I've been playing M-rated games for the last 15 years, and let me tell you what, the only kind of killer I am is a lady killer. Not that Matt cares, because according to him, I'm just an automatically worse person for having played them. So I guess,
we all
right
are.
over the head. Who cares? This is where some video game apologists, wow, devolve into incoherence. Video games are a sacred cow because people are desperate to justify the last 8,000 hours of their lives that they wasted on them. No, Matt, we just don't appreciate assholes barging into our hobby who don't know anything about it, trying to tell us why we like it, why it's bad for us, even as if
we're
you
all
know more
bad.
about it than we do. That's what we find so fucking irritating. And I don't know, man, I don't consider that time wasted. I've actually bonded with many people in my life through a mutual love of the Halo games, a video game franchise all about killing aliens and shooting them to death. And many of those friendships
very
started
tight
over a
fan
decade
base.
ago and are still going strong, and it's a game that's still forming meaningful relationships in my life to this day. I bonded with my dad playing Medal of Honor Rising Sun, and even though he couldn't quite grasp the controls and he wasn't the best at it, it meant the world to me that he even tried to get involved in one of my hobbies. That's a good dad right there. Before my sister passed away, we bonded over fighting games on the PS1 like Tekken 2 and Bloody Roar. And because I was so young when that happened, I remember those moments most vividly because they were moments of a shared enjoyment over a particular and specific thing. So forgive me, Matt, if I don't consider those hours wasted, because I just don't. In fact, I consider the way I spent that time to be pretty damn integral to the person I am now and the values that I hold. So forgive me if I perceive you to be a little bit of a bitch with a superiority complex because you can't fucking grasp this simple thing.
You see, I
agree. Shit, sorry, I cut off a joke. Let's bounce back and then I'll make my commentaries.
This simple thing.
You see, I can appeal to emotion too.
So they'll often...
Sorry, I know I should be talking over all of this, but I get so sucked in because I miss when Chris Raygun made, I mean, he never made regular videos, but he at least made videos more than once or twice a year. And he's a great video maker, and he does live streams, and he has a podcast, Sacred Symbols podcast, and the Snark Tank podcast, I believe he's still doing, which they're really good. He's on one of them with the Sacred Symbols with Colin Moriarty. So yeah, check those out. They're both really bright and they're both really knowledgeable. And if you like video games and, you know, snark, you should watch it.
And pretend there's nothing toxic about video games at all. They'll say something silly like, it's just pretend. I'm just shooting pixels. It's not turning me into a serial killer. Playing violent video games inherently makes you a worse person.
Of course.
Not silly. Video games aren't turning me into a serial killer. Ridiculous! Damn silly! What are you doing? What kind of... What are you... You gotta be a dummy! But, oh, and by the way, Matt, the argument isn't that video games can't be harmful at all. The argument is that they're not harmful enough to justify this retarded, self-righteous crusade against them. Everything on this planet is harmful, dude. Everything. Lights give people seizures. The sun gives you cancer, dude. I'm actually straight up willing to bet, I will put money on this, that the sun has killed more people than video games have. I'm just going to guess that that's probably fucking true. The rest of the article is pretty much just full of the same old moral platitudes we've been hearing for the longest time. You know, people who play video games are pretending to murder people, and that's not good for them.
It took 75 years and countless billions of dollars to train our soldiers to kill. Today, $60 buys your kid the same thing.
What? Glenn Beck not knowing what he's talking about? The heck you say?
Whatever happened to Pong?
It really just reeks of a lack of
Does
understanding.
Pong teach you how to
about
play
why people play these
tennis?
kinds of games in the first
No.
place. I think the main problem is that people who watch people play violent video games and people who play violent video games are getting two very, very different experiences out of the same thing. Especially when the people watching have no fucking understanding of what's going on. Because when a geezer like Matt Walsh watches someone play Gears of War or something, yeah, all he's seeing is, you know, blood, gore, and guns. Because much like his
funny
understanding
'cause-
of what he's talking about, it's all surface level. He's not thinking about flanking routes or timing the active reload just right or how to best progress through the game using the mechanics that the game has laid out before you. It's not an obstacle course to him. It's not a way to strategize. It's just a murder simulator. But that's not how it is to the person playing. Now, I'm going to get very specific here. It's going to get very nerdy. If you don't play video games, you'll probably be a little bit lost. But hear me out because I think this is probably the best way to get people.
According to this, Chris Raygun is within 3 or 4 years of Matt Walsh's age, which is hilarious.
People like Matt to understand why it is that we play games like this. Here's a clip of me playing Halo 3. What you're seeing right here is not a clip of me engaging in some kind of fucking murder fantasy. What you're seeing is problem solving. You're seeing a play, much like you'd see a play in a game of baseball or football or any kind of competitive sport. It's a play. This is a game where 2 teams of 4 face off to eliminate the other team. Now, because it's 4 versus 4 and I've seen 2 enemies die and 1 enemy flee, I know that the enemy that just ran to hide in that underground shelter thing is alone. I know that I can probably take him one-on-one since his backup is basically all taken care of. So I'm deciding my next move. I drop into this hatch hoping to do this, but oops, my shot missed. His health is full. Now my gun is overheated and my only other weapon is a long-range rifle, so I'll have to rely on my fists to win this fight. Luckily, look at that, I'm able to outpunch him. Victory is mine. But oh no, the guy I killed got a good hit on me and now my health is really fucking low. One good hit and I'm dead. But oh look, the radar says there's an enemy above me and he's probably going to be coming in the same way I did, through the hatch. So I'll just do what I do best. I'll bounce a grenade off the wall to land where the hole is, so when he lands, it'll take out most of his health and I can get him in one hit. Oh sweet, it worked, but oh no, my health is still too low to engage directly. So I walk over, guide him to the left. Oh, but what's this? Right as he turns the corner, I jump over him. Now he's disoriented and right next to the fucking explosives. He didn't expect that lateral move and bam, I win the encounter. Now, if you're not a video game fan, you probably have no idea what you just watched. You have no idea what I just said. But what you should take into account is not at any point was I thinking about murdering another human being. For the majority of people who play these kinds of games, this is where the enjoyment of the experience comes from. It's not...
And the games like Halo especially are practically bloodless. A lot of them are. I'm not a big fan of the Halo series. It's not my thing. But there are bloody series. But that's it's usually cartoonish like a Tarantino movie. And nobody's trying to recreate a lot of that. And most of the people that would are too stupid to even try it. Because they're uncoordinated and dipshits, basically.
From having a fucking murder fetish. It's about outsmarting an opponent or outsmarting an artificial intelligence using your wits and improvising problem solutions on the spot. Quick reaction time.
Or you're killing demons like that, and it's horribly brutal and bloody and awesome.
And how everything operates and what does what to what and what interacts with what in what way. It's about the challenge of a game and mastering its rules, its mechanics, and its systems. That's what people love about these kinds of games. That's why they're engaging. It's not about murder fetishism, and if you think it is, you're a fucking inept child who should not be writing about video games. Except for Prototype. I really like Prototype because specifically that game makes you feel like you're killing all sorts of people. I fucking love that game, dude. Put me on a murder spree in that game, dude. You fucking cutting people up. You can eat people in that game. You can eat. You can consume people in Prototype. You can abduct an old man and wear his skin. I love Game of the Year.
I've got you.
I love that game. I really do need to go back and play the original Prototype.
Sorry, guys. I
heard the second one's okay, but it wasn't nearly as well
received. That wasn't an exaggeration, though. I really do love Prototype for that reason.
Yeah,
anyway, that's going to be it for
one
me
of my
today,
favorite
guys. Thanks for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed this one-off episode. I haven't done a one-off episode in a while, so it's nice to go back and do it. If you want to support the channel, there's some merchandise in the description. There's a Patreon in the description that you can go check out. First episode of the Snark Tank podcast is finished, all recorded, all done. We're just waiting for some music to come in, but here's a sneak peek.
Guys, if you're a patron of this podcast, we're gonna fucking find who you are. You fucking idiots put your names and credit cards in this website. I'm gonna send you all a virus. I can easily dox y'all, to tell you the fucking truth. And that's a threat to every single person.
I can see him right now. He's very threatening right now. That'll be up hopefully sometime next week.
Yeah, I think if they're still doing it, the last time I watched it, it was him, some black dude. That's his YouTube name. I'm not just saying some black dude. And then Tom Sweeney, the guy you saw earlier.
The music is done in time. It will definitely be on iTunes. I don't know about Spotify and Google Play just yet, but we'll figure that out soon. And that's all today's episode is. I'm going to go play Fortnite again because I'm a piece of shit.
And these are more recent, like within the last couple of years, videos that he has done. He's done a few here and there, but he nowhere near as many as he used to. And I very much miss seeing him online. I did not say Sonic. Who? What? People are asking Matt Walsh for relationship advice? That's hilarious. Just do video games. Okay, so a video game was made for him. Let's see what Matt Walsh has to say about this.
You know, I speak publicly through several different mediums every day of my life. And you might think that those who wish to be outraged by my comments would find more than enough new fodder every day to keep them satiated. But somehow that is not the case. The outrage mob demands even more reasons to be mad at me. And so they will not only sift through my daily comments, but they'll also dig through everything I've said over the past 10 years to find more ammunition. And this creates a situation where nearly every day I have factions
This is
of
horribly
the outrage
ironic.
mob screaming at me because of things I said that day, and then I have other factions screaming at me arbitrarily over something I said years ago. So they'll come banging on my door, metaphorically, shouting, "Hey, remember this thing you said on September 14th, 2016? And I'll say, no, I actually don't. That was a long time ago. What are you talking about? And they'll say, well, here's what you said, and you said it, and we're mad about it 7 years later. And I'll say, okay, well, have fun with that, I guess. I don't know what to do for you. And then I'll go about my day. That's usually the way it works. But every once in a while, this randomly reignited outrage provides me with an opportunity to revisit or expand upon an important point. And that's what happened yesterday when...
And the only reason I'm watching this one in particular is because I am curious as to what he currently thinks about some of his old takes. I don't know if he still has these takes. I don't watch Matt Walsh. I haven't watched What is a Woman or the other one about race. I think they're important for what they are, but I've never watched them.
For some reason, my Twitter mentions became filled with people upset over something that I tweeted on March 8th, 2018. And here's the offending tweet. This was me. Video games are a sacred cow because our country is filled with adults who are obsessed with them. That's why we all pretend insanely that there's nothing wrong with or disturbing about a child spending all day killing people in a virtual world. Shocking stuff. Apparently in 2018, I made the...
And I do agree that game ratings are there for a reason. Kids of certain ages, now there's always variances, but on average, kids should not play games outside of their age range. Simple enough. 5, 6-year-old probably shouldn't play Call of Duty, especially online, my God. But I can agree with that portion. But
the provocative claim that children shouldn't spend all day playing violent video games. Lots of people apparently disagree. They, I guess, think that children should spend all day playing violent video games. I mean, I could see a response where you say, well, no kids spending all day playing violent video games. But to respond like you disagree with the statement is another thing entirely, but that's what happened. Now, part of the reason why people dig up old tweets is that it gives them, or they believe it gives them, a rhetorical advantage because they can pluck one statement from the past, completely remove it from the broader
part is.
And every subscription order includes a complimentary spring spell.com/Walsh. It's also at the very best a gross oversimplification to accuse me of disavowing video games and social media. You have me on the anime point, however. As we all know, I do literally think that anime is demonic, and every single person who has ever watched it has become possessed by the devil. Literally, that's what I think. But for the rest of it...
Okay, so we might find out that his video game thoughts, as we've seen that he's played video games for his channel and his co-workers' channels. But anime, demonic, dude, come on. Demonic. I mean, you can make whatever distinguishment you want to say with Berserk, maybe, or anything as freaking out there as that. But there's nothing demonic about Attack on Titan. There's nothing demonic about Dragon Ball Z. There's nothing demonic about Speed Racer. There's nothing demonic about Sailor Moon, I don't think. I don't watch a lot of anime, but that I have, nothing's really been demonic. There has been demonic anime, but those are usually very easy to sift through. Anyway.
Not so much.
But we're not here to talk about anime.
Coherent and intelligent rebuttals to my tweet from half a decade ago. Most of the rest were like these. Conservatives returning to their cancel culture roots. Feels like the 1990s all over again. Don't be left wing, don't be right wing. Have both wings and fly.
I don't disagree with this tweet. Conservatives, look, let's not act like cancel culture is a new thing. And let's not even act like the left started it. No one really knows who started it, but in my lifetime, it was the right wing. And some people who have been born in the last 20 years, they probably think the left wing started it. And a lot of people think that the right wing has always done it, which they have to a certain extent. But everyone has to admit that lately, it's been the left wing.
Someone else
and when I say lately, I mean the last 10 years.
How is playing video games any different than reading works of fiction, watching TV shows or movies, or any other form of fictional entertainment? I swear, miserable people just want others to be equally as miserable as they are. Another one says, you can tell Matt's parents didn't get him a Nintendo or a Sega for Christmas when he was young. Such a sad childhood he must have had.
And look, let's not try to act like just because someone didn't do something that you like to do means they had a sad childhood by default. He might have. We don't know. He's got a family and all that, and I'm sure they're happy, at least whatever the confines of their version of happiness is. Not everyone lives the same life as you. We need to show people on the right and the left the same amount of respect until they give us reasons for us personally to not like them. And that's it. It's okay to, like, shouting online is one thing, but if you meet anyone in person who's on the other side of the thing, whether you're left and they're right or you're right and they're left, you need to show them respect. I would even say, like, I'm all for, I don't cuss around people who I know are religious. And if I know someone who's trans, I use the pronouns that they want unless they want me to do they, them, ze, or zer. In which case, that's just kind of nuts, but I will do my damnedest to not use any pronouns. Just out of respect. And most of my trans friends are just like, look, it doesn't matter. Look, I understand this is new for you, or I've just recently transitioned. Do you understand? And conservatives are the same way. Every now and then I'll slip and say a shit or a fuck. As a matter of fact, I accidentally said the F word in front of my mom a few years ago, and she just kind of looked at me and went, eh. Because she had said it a few times because my sister says it a lot.
Then someone else says, the life of Matt Walsh is empty. You could end his life and not a soul would mourn his passing.
And stuff like this is awful. Like this is back when Twitter was verified, I believe. So this is just a regular troll online, more than likely. But for the love of God, like, what's so great in your life? Like, if you're online trolling people like this, and you're saying other people are empty and no one would miss you, that's kind of projecting.
Well,
that being said, I do this all the time.
If you want to prove my point that video games are a sacred cow in this country and many adults are far too invested in them, then wishing death on me for mildly criticizing some video games.
He didn't say he wished death on you. He just said no one would miss you if you did die. But I agree that what he said was not nice, and he shouldn't have said it.
Is definitely one way to do it.
But I will fight to the death.
Also, same with the claim
his
that
right
a
to say it.
childhood without video games must have been sad. As it happens, I did have a Nintendo growing up, but most of my most cherished childhood memories have nothing to do with anything I played or watched on a screen. I remember things like going on hikes in the woods with my dad, playing kickball out in the backyard, running around outside all day in the summer, drinking out of a garden hose, coming back.
I do miss that too. I miss being a kid, especially when I became a teenager. Being a teenager sucked. But yeah.
For dinner, which was always homemade, and we always ate as a family around the dinner table. Those are the kinds of things that I remember. That's what I spent my childhood doing. How sad. What a sad childhood. Yeah, all that stuff is great, but you didn't spend enough time playing Mario. Really sad.
Okay.
Now, we've heard from everyone who misses the point, but what is the point exactly?
Good. That's what I was here for.
There are a few points that matter, I think. But you won't be able to hear them if you insist absolutely that no statements, even vaguely critical of video games, can ever be uttered in your presence. Okay, if video games are a religion for you, then there's not much I can say to get through to you. But for everybody else, here's what it boils down to. There's obviously nothing inherently wrong with video games as a medium. Okay, it's just another form of screen-based entertainment.
Yes.
And when it comes to our children and to ourselves too as adults, but we're just going to focus on children for now, the two things we have to take into consideration with screen-based entertainment of all kinds are, one, the messages embedded in the content, and two, the amount of time spent on the content.
Yes.
Now, as to the first point, I think all reasonable people understand that the screen is a very powerful messaging system. There's a reason why the corporate world spends literally billions of dollars every year marketing through the screen. They know that it's a very effective way to influence people, especially children. There are plenty of studies that prove this point if you're into that sort of thing, but you don't need a study. You're living in the study. You are the study.
Yeah.
We live in a culture shaped by and around the screen. Go to any school and you'll find a building full of kids whose values, beliefs, priorities, tastes have been nearly completely determined by the content they spend their days ingesting through the screen. Video games are not the only example of this, or even the most potent example, but they also obviously aren't an exception. They're in that category.
Okay.
There are all kinds of ideas and images that kids encounter in astronomically large quantities every day. Graphic violence is one category. Okay. No, it's not good for kids to spend an exorbitant amount of time consuming graphically violent content, even if the content is fictional and virtual and imaginary.
And I could agree with that. For kids, especially of certain ages, it's not good to spend too much time. He's not saying no time. He's not saying that people can't play video games. Okay, so that's your standard conservative take, and I can respect that one in particular. Now, on the other side of things, let's take a peek at him playing Grand Theft Auto.
All right, so today, well, there I am. Oh. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
See? And this is what I'm talking about. Does this make Matt Walsh a horrible person? No. Because it's what everyone goes into Grand Theft Auto to do mayhem that they would never do in real life. Even Matt Walsh can't help it. Is it because he's heard about it, or is it just human nature that if you're put in a virtual world, you will do things that you would not otherwise normally do? Sure. Does it make him a giant hypocrite? Maybe. But...
Was that a bad guy or just a random civilian I just shot for no reason?
Okay, see?
That was a guy just trolling like you.
Indiscriminate.
Well, he looked like he was up to no good, frankly.
Okay.
I don't know who the bad
so he
guys
works
are,
for the
shoot
police
everyone, it
in
feels
L.A.,
like.
I guess. Allegedly.
You're the bad guy.
Is there a point? Is there sort of...
Okay. So skipping to...
We are back.
Destroy all humans.
ExpressVPN.com/. All right. Oh, I got the hang of it. All right, that's it.
Okay.
All right, happy Halloween, everyone. As you can see here, we got the studio all decked out for Halloween. I'm just a festive.
Okay, I want to see Matt Walsh get scared. This has nothing to do with anything, really. I just want to see.
Is that in the game, or is that you?
Do I sense fear?
That's not me.
Oh. Did I just die?
Yep.
Well, then why did I have the cameras on? I could have just
I mean, the cameras are to be able to check to see if they move around.
Why do I need to know what they're doing out there? All I need to know is what's happening right outside my door. I just wait till I see them and I shut the door and I'm good.
I mean,
yeah, but you didn't do that, buddy. That's the point of the game. You need to figure out how much time to spend on the cameras, what cameras to look at the most, and listen to all instructions given. Simple concepts for us, but let's understand that this man does not play video games. He doesn't like video games. But I was hoping to see him get scared, but this man is unscarable. But, okay. So that's all for that. So let's go back to Twitter. So this is New York Post. That whole thing. But just based on this picture, it's my understanding that, apparently fishing creates killers. That's what you can gather from this, because it's a picture of him holding a fish by the throat, by the trout throat. And he's played, these aren't even violent video games. Not especially, okay? This one's very cartoony. Team Fortress is more funny than anything else. Left 4 Dead 2, you're literally killing zombies. Again, yes, there's guns, and Rust... I can't remember. Somewhat violent, if I'm remembering correctly. I've played a little bit of it. And again, there's the studies. There's me, Carl Benjamin. So did he eat dinner too? The Act Man. There was another shooting, Mr. Stark. Jarvis, pull up his gaming history. I love the Act Man. Laura Loomer patting herself on the dumbass back. Oh, our buddy Flawed. I love Flawed. He hasn't followed me yet, but I'm hoping it's soon because a few people in the sphere have followed me. So I got more time than that for sure. Uh-oh. Flawed's about to pop. No, he's not. Flawed is pretty level-headed and hilarious. Laura Loomer called it. I said this while his body was on the roof. I said, this is a guy who played way too many video games and was convinced he could kill people in real life as easily as he killed people in video games. These lunatics leftists are all communist gamer kids. All of them. Laura Loomer, shut up. Okay? Let's look at Laura Loomer's face. Just seeing this picture, I would guess this is a trans woman. And that's not me defaming or saying anything bad about trans people, but this is not an attractive woman. She's on the right, and she very much looks like a trans woman. Not unlike other people who've had too much surgery, like that dog shooter from, oh shit, the lady who's in charge of ICE and all that. Homeland Security, I think is, whatever her name is. But all right, sorry, that's horribly mean. But I noticed this earlier when I was just, I think someone posted it down here in the comments, as a matter of fact. Let me see. This is the only bad thing about X. You'll find something hilarious, and if you don't tag it like immediately, yeah. How do you do, fellow kids? I love that. You know who else drank water? Alex Jones Hitler. Okay, I'm not going to find it, but someone down here put a picture of her next to a very similar looking trans woman. And, oh my God. Yeah, pretty much. 3.6 hours in the past 2 weeks. I didn't even see that. Wait, hold on. Is that... No... Let me look closer. Okay. On record, yes. 3.6 hours in the last 2 weeks. Especially for a dude in his 30s who's single, that's not a lot of video game time every week. 3.6 hours. That's like half hour a night. So what? That's like an hour every other night. Let's be more realistic. Let's say he only does it every other night and he does it for an hour. That's hardly anything. And that's on all video games, not even these that he's higher up on. People who research this don't know anything about it. That's why most of these jobs in media should be freelance, 100%. Because with a few people, like 5 or 6 people, who do the minimal amount of research to get information out there, to get it past their boss, who knows even less than they do. But Laura Loomer, and then let's see what she said before. Because the shooter likely spent too much time playing video games, she said this the day before, watching Antifa videos. He probably thought being a sniper was as easy as it looks in the video games. He was a bad shot. He permanently deported the illegals instead of killing the ICE agents. Then he himself, like a good comrade, Democrats are terrorists. Look, I don't like this. I don't like it from the left, and I don't like it from the right. One, stay off of video games. Keith Olbermann is just as bad. Look, Laura Liar, that's not inaccurate. Let's be honest. And yes, the victims were detainees, but Keith Olbermann has already called for the death of another journalist that he disagrees with. Keith Olbermann's on the left, Laura Loomer's on the right. These are two of the worst on each side. Let's be honest, and Keith Olbermann's not even that bad. Laura Loomer is probably as bad as the modern right gets as far as mainstream so-called investigative journalist. She is to the right. What was that? What's that lady on the left? Oh, I'm drawing a blank right now. I don't agree with Trump Tracker ever. This guy is a clout-chasing retard, but he's right here. Not about this. Well, not about. Look, taking things that are almost there and turning them into extremist stuff is horrible. We do not need to classify Democrats as terrorists. Not all of them. Just like they don't need to classify conservatives as Nazis. Notice I didn't say us in either of those two. I'm not amongst any of you. Because when I wake up in the morning, I don't look to see what President Trump said before I form an opinion on something. A lot of you do that, and it's very sad. This, if nothing else that you get from me, understand this. The never Trumpers and the always Trumpers who fillet themselves to videos for or against, they're exactly the same. They are exactly the same. Because their whole lives revolve around what one man says. And then they are automatically either all for it or all against it, even if it contradicts anything else that they believe in. Now, albeit the left is much more much more loud about it and much more violent about it currently, the right is not without fault on this. And let's not forget, just because my disdain for what the left has become has caused me to temporarily, not even form a ceasefire, but to seemingly align with the right, I don't agree with a lot of this. Rationality and common sense is not a political trait. It shouldn't be. You should not be party line all the way down. Maybe 10% of each side. But if you don't accept gay people and no, let's not say it like that. It should be possible for someone to accept gay people, accept guns, like marijuana, and think people shouldn't smoke, but can if they want to. Then you're probably a common sense person who doesn't see why the other two sides hate each other and line up in lockstep on everything. You're allowed to have your own opinions. Please, please, don't let the mainstream divide us anymore. We are all the same. And we're being told by millionaires and billionaires, the millionaires and the billionaires, mostly by millionaires, to hate billionaires because of clout and jealousy. At least half of it's that. And let's face it, most of the current left is a bunch of upper to upper middle class white suburban kids who were bored. They're just bored and they hate where they came from. You will not convince me otherwise. Are there poor people involved? Yes. And they're usually left holding the bag whenever the heavier political activists, which are normally the rich ones, step out of line, and then the poor person is there to hold the bag for them. Oh, shit, sorry. Can you tell I don't have any strong feelings for a lot of these people? All right, let's see if there's any more fun. Yeah. Accurate. Video game revenue, Japan, all these other countries. Yeah. It's not video games. It's just not. Look. And again, hating each other because of gun violence is silly. Just because the other side puts out, the left wants to get rid of guns altogether. The right will never have this. And people don't realize that semi-auto means when you pull the trigger, one bullet comes out. That's it. You pull it again, another one comes out. Now there are ways to modify with the the butt stock that made it to where you can pretty much rapid fire it like you're playing on an Xbox with the Jesus finger. And the right, well, they want armed security and metal detectors outside of schools. And I'm not opposed to that. Those things, while it makes you feel like you might be in prison or something, it keeps your kids safe. And it's not that much of an inconvenience. We do it at the airport all the time. Anyone who's ever taken a flight, yes, it sucks having to do it every day, but it'll keep your kids safe. And it'll keep everyone happy when it comes to school shootings. Again, just because you don't like the takes that the other side has on something, it doesn't make you right. And I say that to both sides. Video games didn't kill those detainees. And see, this shit right here. All were big gamers. Fuck off. Do not, and this goes with all things, do not assess the values of an entire group of people based off what a few nutters do. Video games don't make violent people, ain't gonna lie. This is nuts. Look, I don't know what I was going for posting this, let's be honest. I never really do. And that's okay. But, and I was looking up, I could have sworn that Smash made a video about the, now the left is turning against, farming simulators and such. Because they're saying that they promote colonialism. Because any video game where someone from another land comes and saves the day is colonialism. They're including Animal Crossing in this. Animal Crossing. Yes, you're a human. Yes, you're in a world full of animal people. But can something just be fun? Do you really have to... Look, you blaming all these other things, the conservatives will blame video games for violence all day, all the time. But the amount of things that the left blames video games on, just Google any prominent YouTuber from 6 to 10 years ago and cross-reference them with the name, especially in the gaming sphere, cross-reference them with the name Anita Sarkeesian. As a matter of fact, let's see... Like, look at this. Feminist Frequency. This woman's a lunatic. She was on Colbert Report. She came on all of these things. Hey, remember when Colbert was really funny? But this woman was never a gamer. She's admitted this in public. But she's been one of the driving forces for all this stuff. She is the catalyst. She is the originator of all the Sweet Baby Inc. stuff that we've been getting in the video game space for the last little bit. Her and, was it Zoe Quinn? And I know there's a third one I'm forgetting. But this is... Oh, here's another left one. This is from PBS. Games are racist. What? Hold on, let me see. Let me see if Shoe on Head. I know she had some... You're really only going to show me... Hold on, let's see if this is the one I'm thinking.
So important to me. Seeing good friends of mine get labeled as misogynist, sexist, racist, only for enjoying video games and seeing through this very obvious agenda.
Look how young she is. This is Shoe on Head 10 years ago.
No. I honestly could not imagine being so deluded that you actually make yourself believe that all gamers are white, cis males who are worse than ISIS. I'm not even mad, I'm actually like impressed that these people have the ability. They're like champions of mental gymnastics of the oppression Olympics. They're just coming in like, I don't like this, I don't like that, I don't like this. This character doesn't look like me. She's not frumpy and below average. It makes me insecure. Change it. Change this. I don't like this. I don't like that. I don't even play that, but I don't like it. There could be a fucking black Mexican Chinese demisexual.
Let's sorry, I'm trying to yeah, Anita Sarkeesian lies. Big shocker there. Okay. We'll play a little bit from this one. This one might be one of the ones I'm thinking
I honestly don't understand how this has gone on as long as it has. I cannot
and it's still going on.
comprehend
Can you understand
how
that? It's been
so
10
many
years.
People can look at what Anita Sarkeesian says and think, wow, what a level-headed and intelligent criticism. Now, usually I have kind of a persona that I get into when I make videos like this. A
back
very
when he was
abrasive, very
somewhat
sarcastic persona
normal.
that some people don't take too kindly to. So to avoid any accusations of ad hominems, I just want to present this to you right off the bat in its entirety. So for those of you who don't know, in mid-June, Bethesda Softworks released Fallout Shelter, which was basically a small mobile game on the App Store, designed to help pass time before the release of Fallout 4 this fall. Now, Fallout Shelter is a fairly innocuous game. It's kind of a cross between Sims and SimCity, where you've got to essentially rebuild society, repopulate the Earth. Granted, this is a very, very Cliff Notes version.
If you thought that Hitman Absolution showboated Anita Sarkeesian's willingness to make up almost any bullshit just to push an agenda, then you ain't seen nothing yet.
But anyway, look, I'm getting past the point. But no, all this stuff with Sweet Baby Inc., it all started with Anita Sarkeesian. She's been noted as to saying that she wasn't a gamer, that she actually had to play a lot of video games to do all these things. She's put in barely more work than Laura Loomer has. I'll give her that. But Laura Loomer just says stuff from time to time. Anita Sarkeesian, she's one of the reasons that Anthem sucked as bad as it did. Remember that one that was supposed to be the Destiny killer? Made by BioWare? And I was so looking forward to Anthem that I forgave Mass Effect Andromeda for being as shitty as it was when it came out. Then I heard that Anita Sarkeesian had paid BioWare a visit on the Anthem, went to visit the Anthem people. She did basically what the Sweet Baby people have been doing. Now, while they didn't listen to a lot of the stuff she said, she got the wheels turning. And now, I mean, BioWare just made that new Dragon Age Veilguard game. These people have nothing but time. And it's the left and the right. Right now it's the right doing it. But the left has been... The right's saying it for violence. The left is saying it for everything else. Racist, sexist, homophobic, transphobic. They're calling all video games this. So yeah. That being said, I'm fixing to jump over and play... I'm going to start streaming Ghost of Tsushima. Because Ghost of whatever the fuck the new one's called is coming out Friday, and I won't be buying it. I will not be playing it. The same way I didn't buy Assassin's Creed Shadows, and anyone who knows me in my real life knows that I've been looking forward to an Assassin's Creed set in feudal Japan since Assassin's Creed started venturing into other areas. The first one came out and it was in the Middle East. The second one came out and it was in Italy mostly. And then the third one was in America. I was like, oh man, if they're going to do these in different places, I want one in feudal Japan. That would be perfect for the whole assassin bit. And then I got Ghost of Tsushima. And it, I guess, will forever be my Assassin's Creed game set in feudal Japan. I love samurai, ninjas, shogun, everything. I love Asian culture, especially Japanese culture. But Ghost of Tsushima is going to be the only game that I get on that for a very long time. Probably within the amount of time that I will even like video games anymore. And that's sad. Because when I finally got the Assassin's Creed one, it was all covered up by Sweet Baby stuff. And while I'm completely fine with them using Yasuko, or Yasuke, sorry, it should have been DLC. Let's be honest. He does not have any lore, and his story could have been a nice DLC follow-up. Just like Assassin's Creed 3 had, what was it, Liberation? Would have been perfectly fine. No one would have complained. Everyone would have loved it. But no, instead, they make the one set in Japan have a black main character. And then they had it followed up by pairing him up with a female. And then they also made Yasuke gay. I'm not saying these things have no place in video games, but they must be proportional. They have to be proportional to the audience that will consume them versus the amount of money that they put into them. If they're doing big budgets, then it has to be broad appeal. But instead, we're using the other kind of broad appeal. I'm sorry, that was right there. I had to. I'm just joking. But instead, we're putting indie game stories and characters in mainstream video games. Now, I'm all for big studios putting money towards these things, but the amount of money that they put into things has to be equal to the amount of money that you're planning on getting back. And by all means, if you make smaller versions of these games and they do very well, then by all means make a bigger game for it. All communities deserve all kinds of games. And no one should be left out. But for people to pretend that gay alternative storylines haven't been in at least American RPGs for the last 10, 15, 20 years are deluding themselves, and they are clearly not gamers. Everything that BioWare has ever made has had the potential for a gay love interest. You can be whatever sex you want to be. You can be whatever race you want to be in these games. They've had white, except for the ones like The Legend of Zelda, that this is the protagonist that's been in the games. You should not change Link into a female or change whatever race he is or anything like that. But you can make video games that appeal to all people, as American RPGs have done since the original Xbox. Star Wars KOTOR allowed you to be any race, male or female, and you can even add in anything else. They're character creators. Anything that belongs within the realm of this can be. Even the original Knights of the Old Republic had the option to have gay love interest. It was always there. If you were male, I'm pretty sure you could get Karth as a love interest, or at least the Zarbrak. Is that what Darth Maul is? Whatever race he is. I apologize, it's slipping from the moment, but he's from Xanthamir. Anyway, and as a female, you could get Bastila, the main female supporting character, as your love interest. Same thing with Mass Effect. Same thing with pretty much every American Western RPG. These things have been here forever. Representation has been here, and nobody's cared. Nobody cared until you made it to where we have to play as these characters in franchises that we all love. The new Dragon Age is abysmal because it forces these things. It forces the mass audience to play as your game settings. And while those games have been successful, why would you turn a game that already had such broad appeal, that already had so many ways to play, into a linear travesty and pale imitation of what it originally started off being? Aside from that, video games are escapism and a way to live as you never could in the world that we live in. Whether you use it to get away from your problems, whether you use it to just turn off your brain for a little bit, video games are forms of escapism, as are movies, as are TV shows, as are music. But both these things have to be able to coexist. There are movies that you watch to relate to, and there are movies that you watch to escape. Same thing with music. There are songs that you vibe to because you can really relate to what's going on in that. And then there are songs that you vibe to because it gives you a different perspective on a situation that you may not have seen before. As does all art. And what the meaning of a painting is in the eye of the beholder. But as such, and that's the beauty of what art was, but in this postmodern world, and whatever we're in now, we're postmodern. The artists, instead of giving you a piece of art and letting you make of it what you will, they tell you what to make of it. That's not art. That's just, I don't know what it is, but it's not what art should be. At least not as far as mass appeal art. If you want to make your own little thing, then make it with your own little salary and get it done. I'll support that. Like, no one's saying that those video games can't exist. Just please make sure. Oh, crap. I've only had YouTube comments on this whole time. I'm so sorry for everyone on Kick. But, okay, literally everyone. But, yeah. But anyway, that's all. I'm going to get off my soapbox. I'm going to switch over. I'm going to eat me a little something, and then I'm going to jump on Ghost of Tsushima. I'll probably be on there for about an hour, hour and a half. But, as always, like, subscribe, tell me what you think down in the comments. But yeah, I'm going to watch Matt Walsh and them play Mario Kart with Tim Pool while I eat lunch. And I'll see how much he enjoys it. But anyway, I will get back on the Candace Owens thing. I'm probably not going to do a show tomorrow. I might play some more Ghost of Tsushima during the day. But yeah, I'm gonna relax on Sunday. I'm not gonna think about any politics, and then I'll get back onto everything else that I've missed out on the last couple days. Because this stuff's exhausting. But as always, we take what we're given and we do our best with it. Just please take care of each other. Take care of